Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Shield Hero, my lord. Shield Hero actually goes in pretty crazy this week, and to think that there wasn't going to be a whole bunch of um, like talking and like expositions, it seemed like it was going to be more like an action-packed episode. But it wound up being an episode where the shield hero himself would have been practically obliterated if it wasn't for some outside help that we've never seen before. And because of that, we get to see some pretty awesome stuff. I really was expecting more from the T-Rex and to probably see him on the rampage longer. But to see it end as it did was fine by me because it just goes to show us that there's still a lot of expositions out there that the shield hero should not be able to necessarily defeat easily. So because of that, it puts me in the understanding that we are going to get quite a bit more of maybe those things, or this will finally be mm, kind of the tipping point for the heroes to work together and maybe actually for him to get some more power-ups that are natural compared to being actually ridiculously evil in the sense of using the rage variant. So from what we can understand, a lot has actually been told by this queen who comes in and absolutely destroys this T-Rex. And when I say destroy, I mean there was no competition. There was no back and forth. This was a one-sided competition, 110%. And after it happened, you knew exactly who was the victor and who was in control the whole entire time. So that was very shocking to see not only how big she was or how big the queen actually is, and that our girl is pretty much the next in line. So to think that all of this is coming in the future for one of our characters, like that type of power, that type of speed, um, not to mention that type of force field slash barrier. She made a barrier that made it so no one could escape, and then she also made a shield in front of her, which the flame didn't even get a chance to touch her. So absolutely fire episode with what she brings to the table in the action department. But not only that, guys, we then get to see, what the world should really be like and how wrong uh, it is already. So we learn that um, the king somehow has gotten his hands on summoning every single one of the heroes in his like domain, which isn't supposed to be the case. All of the heroes are supposed to be summoned one by one around the country, or at least probably summoned at the same time. And once they're summoned, it's supposed to lead to this instance of uh, them learning, in that area, protecting that area, because another huge part of why they were supposed to be summoned to multiple places instead of just one, we learn is because there is actually waves that happen not only in this area but everywhere around the country. So I I honestly was just jaw to the ground when I heard that. I was like, are you kidding me? This king not only did something evil to the shield hero, but he's completely letting every other capital practically fend and like be defeated for themselves, you know? So it's clear to me who the main enemy is at this point to the other countries and the other people around the world, but do they even know? I mean, not do they even know. Do they even have a plan to push forward and actually take action upon this? Because if they do, the king might be in a lot of danger if he doesn't have anybody there to protect him that is strong. If, you know, the other capitals figure out how to get some people that are on par with whatever he has in his capital. But with all that being said, it's clear to me that we're still, learning a lot about this world. But as of now, the queen was supposedly with one of the heroes, and maybe that is why she became the queen in the first place, because she was raised by a hero, aka the same thing that's happening now to his bird that he rolls with, Firo. And I don't think he knew anything about that, of course, but at the same time, it leads us to the conclusion that if anybody is going to show us that he might be willing to stay, and I mean, he did have a little brother in the outside world, so everything that's kind of building up within this show, just in this world, has never really translated back to the other world he's been taken from, and outright told us like, oh yeah, because he's been doing this, he hasn't, like, people out in the real world forgot about him, or people still know about him and they're still waiting for him. We know nothing of the sort like that, or if he can even truly go back, and if the king didn't just say that so they would work without actually believing that they're stuck in this place and need to become one with it. uh it was just interesting to me that the queen of all queens had a hero that she worked with, and she's been living for all this time. But the only problem with that is she's alone, and sooner or later she won't be able to do this. And because the shield hero decides to fight against all of the heroes, all three of the heroes, or at least the spear one mainly, because as we see, the sword and the bow heroes are both on a pilgrimage to check out what is actually behind some of these some of these accused accusations that the shield hero has made to the sword guy, saying you need to investigate this sword and bow and whatever and spear, the sword, bow, shield organization, and really get to the bottom of it. And if you don't, then you'll understand just that much more why I could never trust you, and that I'm going to keep my distance away from, even when you're trying to help me, I'm going to pull away because I don't trust anybody in that organization. So really, really interesting stuff. I've been enjoying Shield Hero from the start to finish, and finish is right now at 16 episodes top right now, so absolutely crazy for them to keep me completely entertained and enticed in this world, and I can't wait to see what comes sooner than later with this whole entire queen. I'm guessing all of the party members are going to come out and hearing that the shield hero's in a fight, and that's going to escalate very quickly. So next week should be fire. And not only that, the redhead girl is almost being caught in the act of her being down there, and this library that has all this information seemingly probably going to tell them that the other countries' ways of summoning certain heroes and how they made it so they're summoning only all the heroes there, or something along those lines. So let me know what you guys are thinking about Shield Hero. I absolutely am loving the plot and the story around it. The CGI for the T-Rex was pretty rough. I know that's a big problem for a lot of people. But overall, I think if you give it a chance, if you give it another gander when you look at these types of shows, you might enjoy it. You might not. I'm not an expert, but I did enjoy it, and I looked past all the bad stuff to just see the plot of the actual story. So with that being said, my anime people, I will have another video to drop sooner than later. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe to make sure I know that you guys are watching, or just comment and talk to your boy because I read all the comments, even if they're negative. I have no reason not to, but at the same time, I have no reason to answer to the negative people that try to get under my skin. So with all that being said, I hope you guys have an awesome one, and I will talk to you very soon. All right, peace. God, she keeps going in the heel. Oh, yeah. Get out of here.